Jeff is misleading you and being irresponsible in making you think you can make a change to your glutes in 22 days. Coach Greg and Jeff Cavaliere, he's at it again. Guess what? We're getting better glutes in 22 days. What's with the number 22? 22 days. Should it be 222 days? Or I think Chef Rush had it right. 2,222 days to better glutes. That would make sense. So are we really going to fix our glute problem in 22 days? Well, I'm looking at the thumbnail. It says, fix this. Looks like he's got a Hank Hill ass and you gotta fix this in 22 days. So unless you're inserting prosthetics or you're getting some kind of surgery, you're not fixing the problem in 22 days. So the video is called 22 Days to Better Glutes Glute Workout. I watched the video 3 times already and I'm going to watch again and comment and tell you what's good, what's bad, and what's ugly.
Take a look at this picture for me and tell me, do you look like either one of these people?
No, I do not. So I can tell you right now, if you look anything remotely close to the people in the pictures that have close to 0 glutes, you're not going to fix the problem in 22 days. You're not fixing it in 222 days. Most likely, you're probably never going to have amazing glutes. Glute development does come down to genetics. I know you don't want to hear it, but I'm telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Can you make it better? Of course you can. But it's extremely difficult to change from having no glutes to amazing glutes. It's not a 22-day fix. 22 months, maybe a little bit, but it's not going to happen overnight.
You're in a good place because I've got a 22-day plan that's going to kickstart you and get you on the right path to having a better backside.
So he has a 22-day program, and actually it's only 20 days. On day 1, you take a picture and you look at yourself, and on day 22, you take another picture and you see all the miraculous changes that you made in 20 days. Only there is no change that's going to happen. You're not going to change your glutes in 22 days. You could eat a lot of food and get fat and have larger glutes, or you could diet and do cardio and have smaller glutes, but you're not going to make a noticeable change in the amount of muscle in your glutes in 22 days. It's like trying to put an inch on your arms in 22 days. It's not going to happen.
If you look in the mirror and this is what you see, then you really actually need to add an extra 0 or 2 to the 22 days in order to get this looking right.
So at least he does say you can't drop all the fat you've accumulated over the course of your life in 22 days. So if you're overweight, you need to clean up your diet, do cardio, and lose the weight. Probably going to take you closer to 220 days. That makes sense.
If you're attempting to build up your glutes right now, but you are not squatting and deadlifting and they're not part of your training at all, I would recommend you start there.
So he's saying the first thing you need to do if you're not training your glutes is try doing squats or deadlifts. And yes, I agree with that. Those are great exercises to develop your glutes. If you're not already training, do the basics first. Don't do some elaborate glute training specialty program where you do 10 different exercises, 5 sets of 15, and you're in the gym for an hour and a half every day trying to develop your glutes. That is not the answer. You're going to overtrain. You need to do the basics, keep it simple, and just keep going harder than last time.
And on both day 1 and day 22, we're gonna do a simple test, the mirror test. You're gonna take a look at what you're looking like right now and make your own assessment. Do you like what you see?
Whether you're 20 years old or 80 years old, I'm pretty sure you've seen your glutes enough to know if you like them or not. So you can skip day 1. It'll save you the trouble. You don't need to look at your glutes right now and decide if they're plumpy or well-developed. You already know.
On day 22, come back and compare.
And I can tell you right now, to avoid future disappointment, in the 22 days, you're not going to see a significant change in your glutes. Sorry, you are not. Jeff is misleading you and being irresponsible in making you think you can make a change to your glutes in 22 days. You can't take a before and after, and you go from having a flat ass to a round ass in 22 days. You could make it smaller, you could lose the weight, but he's already said that's going to probably take 220 days. So before you even start his program, realize you're not going to make the significant changes you want. It takes time.
And we're gonna hit them in 2 different ways, in a glute-focused day and a hamstring-focused glute day.
So what I can say right now is this is too much. This is overtraining. This is way too much. You start with glutes on day 1, your glutes are already gonna be tired. If you're doing it right, it's gonna be tired. You start on day 2 doing glutes. If you do glutes properly, your glutes should be tired. So day 3 saying if you're not tired, do corrective exercise. But if you're doing them right, you should be tired. Who trains glutes and doesn't feel it the next day? Are you kidding me? Maybe you should tell people to train properly, to train hard, to train it correctly. Because if they're training hard and training correctly, they're going to feel it the next day. You're saying, well, if you're sore, you can take a day off. They should feel it. They should be sore. If the next day you don't feel like you've worked out, you didn't do it correctly. I didn't even train yesterday. I rode a bike. I'm standing up. My glutes are sore, very sore. Didn't lift weights, didn't do squats, didn't do anything. Rode a bike. While going up the hill, I was in a low gear. You're standing up off the pedals and continuously pushing. You don't think you can develop your glutes? Try riding up a mountain and see what happens to your glutes the next day. It's hard work. The key to getting glutes is you need to train hard and you need to do the exercises that target your glutes. And on day 4, you're doing hamstrings. And listen, a lot of these exercises where you're training your glutes are also training your hamstrings and your quads. It's hard to target them specifically. So just because you have specific exercises on specific days doesn't mean that you're not targeting that exact area on all days. So any day you're training glutes, you're also going to have quads and hamstrings involved. It goes without saying. So having to train in this fashion means you're training every single day. It's too much. Your body can't recover from this. Now, if he said, just go through the motions and learn the exercises and don't train hard, just do it with super light weights and go easy and do warm-up sets to learn the exercises, that would be okay. But that's not what he says. He has you doing the weights sometimes with dumbbells, and they're not easy workouts. They're hard. Some of the exercises like leaning forward, step-ups, that's hard. Curtsy lunges, hard. A lot of these exercises are going to be difficult, and if you start doing them every day like this, you're not going to recover, and if you don't recover, you can't build the glutes that you want to build in the first place. So in watching this video 3 times, what I took was there's a lot of great exercises in this video to develop your glutes. A lot of great exercises. And what should you do? You should train your glutes 2 to 3 times a week. 2 to 3. Not 7 days a week. Not once a week. Somewhere in the middle. 2 to 3 times. So what you should do is try all of these exercises. Practice them with very light weights. Go easy. Get used to the proper form and technique. Once you get used to it, incorporate it into your plan. Train the glutes 2 to 3 times a week using your favorite exercises from the list he gave. Do your squats, do your deadlifts, and do some of these added exercises. You all know you need to do hip thrusts. You can add the other exercises on top of that to have a well-rounded program. So rather than think of it as a 20-day shortcut to getting glutes, think of it as, I'm going to learn from Jeff's video the exercises that train the glutes. I'm going to practice them, and I'm going to incorporate that into my program, into my routine. And then over the course of the next 22 months, I'm going to slowly but surely add muscle to my glutes. That is what you should do. You shouldn't do this 22 days to quick glutes program. You need to realize it takes time. A lot longer, 10 times longer than he's suggesting. It's not a bad video because you can learn the exercises that he's showing and use them. Great video on how to perform exercises. What I don't like is the program that he developed from those exercises. Had the video been called, try these exercises, they're great for building the glutes, and incorporate them into your routine, great video. So the problem is people are going to watch this video, take a before and after picture, and think, wow, I'm going to see how much more muscle I put on my glutes in 22 days. And at the end of the 22 days, when there's no difference, they're going to twist their glutes a little bit more. You know what they're going to do? They're going to twist. They're going to say, I followed this 22-day program and look at the difference. And they're going to get really good lighting and better camera angles in the after and say, look how amazing it worked. Meanwhile, all you did is twisted your hips 2 inches. You've all seen it. You know that's what people are doing. In the before photo, they make it look like they got no glutes. They're not arching their backs, they're just standing there. In the after photo, they're arching so much it looks like they're taking a shit, and that's what you're seeing. You're saying, before I had to shit, and after now I gotta have a shit. That is what's going on. Before and after shit freaking pictures. That's a before and after photo.
We're going to start here with our activation drills. And this is, again, some of the stuff that people don't do. They go right into glute work.
So glute activation drills, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're the kind of person that can't feel your glutes working when you do an exercise, there's nothing wrong with doing exercises before that so that you can pre-activate them. That way, when you do your squats, you really know you're feeling it in the glutes. For me, I don't need to do any of this stuff. When I do a squat, all I feel is the glutes. I want to feel less glutes. My glutes are way too sore from doing squats. When I do a hip thrust, all I feel is my glutes. They're tired. Sure, I can feel the quads working as well, but the glutes are working overtime. It could be because I have better mind-muscle connection. It could be because of my genetics. But if you're someone that can't feel the glutes working, do some of his pre-activation exercises. That makes sense.
Push one leg back behind you and then push the other one, really trying to contract your glutes. It's going to feel different right versus left on almost 99% of you.
So I tried the test out as I was watching the video, extending the right leg and the left leg, felt exactly the same. So if you don't feel exactly the same, that could be an indication that maybe you don't know how to target the left and right glute effectively. So give that a try. The video isn't bad per se. It's got a bunch of exercises and he explains them properly. It's just what he says to do with the exercises and the program that he develops that I don't like. So it's not a bad video. It's just you can't think you're going to get better glutes in 22 days by doing these exercises. It's not going to happen. So give some of these exercises a try. The forward leaning step ups, great exercise. If you can't feel your glutes doing this exercise, I don't know what's wrong with you. I can feel them without even using any weight. With no weight, I can feel the glute activating right from the start. So if you don't feel it, keep practicing. And if it's just not something you can get, you don't need to do it. There's a variety of exercises. It's not a contest on how many exercises can you do to build your glutes. It's picking the ones you like the most, that are the most effective, and doing those. I often do my workouts for my entire body with only 2 or 3 exercises per body part. I don't need to do 5 different exercises with 3 sets of each. It's too much. I pick the ones I like the most, that I feel the best doing, and I focus on those. So if you ever watch me in the gym training, you'll see me doing over and over again, mostly the same exercises. The ones that I like, the ones that feel the best. Rarely would I ever do more than 3 different exercises for any given body part on any given day. It's just simply not needed. Pick the best exercises, do them well, and keep doing them. Perfect them. Rather than being a jack of all trades and doing 20 different glute exercises and doing them all half-ass, pick 3 really good ones that you can do and do them over and over again and do them harder than last time. That is the answer. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette IB Pro. Bloops are there. Watch one of the bloops. Subscribe to the Gram and the Talk. Buy my freaking training books, cookbooks, and coaching plans. And until next time, I am out. In the after photo, they're arching so much it looks like they're taking a shit, and that's what you're seeing.